Data is really the foundation for any AI or ML or Gen AI application. And this is where a lot of times most of the energy goes. And data, it means how you store it, how you process it, access it. A lot of focus today is on vector databases, but in real world application, you'll have all the different models of access to the database. For example, you get a user logged in, you need to have a user table that gives you a user context. Then some of the content that you're asking about may be structured, like you're asking, what's my account balance? The bot will not go and search it in a document. It will go through a tool to a database and query the user transaction history and so on. Within McKinsey, what I do is I help mainly tier 1 clients of McKinsey in how to adopt AI and Gen AI in scale and productize it. Because we've seen that one of the biggest challenges for companies in that space is moving from playground prototypes into productization and scale that's reproducible. So this is my role within McKinsey, and my team's role is how to help clients reach that point. What we'll work with the clients is on those two areas. One is how to build, let's call it the platform for AI and Gen AI that will serve the various aspects of life cycle and do it right, with all the aspects. And as the second is when they want to implement a use case, we have deep technologies that done that for multiple clients, and then we can build the same thing for that client. So we're usually doing both. I think first there is an issue that people go read some buzz, read some Medium articles and so on. Oh, it's so easy to go and implement. Or even sometimes we see the vendors, because they want to get higher adoption, it's really easy, just like do this and this and this and off you go. Because again, their interest is to push more and more people to use those LLMs and their cloud frameworks. And then we say, no, you can't just take a PDF and upload and that's it. What about the versioning of that document? What happens when the version changes? What do you do when you have 1,000 documents? How do you manage them? How do you manage metadata and so on? Even subtle changes we've seen with OpenAI that broke the application because the prompt was interpreted in a different way. So if you don't build that into your process, so for example, testing before you go to production and validating and only then going to production, just as an example, it could be a big issue. So what we like about MongoDB, for example, is twofold. One, I don't really care what's the model of data access I need. In the same application, I may have 5 patterns, key value, graph, vector, relational, and document. So that's one key advantage. I don't need to work with 5 different types of database, each one with its logging, authentication, so on. The second is that MongoDB has the enterprise maturity for the other models and just extended it to vectors and versioning and so on.
All those fundamentals that you refer to.
So you get something which is production ready on one end without patching and so on. And you get to choose what's your you have an a la carte menu of data access patterns. Essentially, every Gen AI use case that we see could be deployed using MongoDB and Atlas. And as I mentioned before, it's actually very convenient that I don't need to install MySQL and then install the Milvus or whatever a vector database. And maybe I need the graph, so I'll go, Neo and so on. So I have a cloud service. I can play around with it, just credentials, even a freebie option. And as I go to production, I'll turn it into more of an enterprise license and so on.